You know, in the creative world, there's this one piece of paper that can literally make or break a project. It can be the one thing standing between you and a legal disaster. It's often just an afterthought, right? Something you sign on a clipboard during a hectic shoot. But it has so much power. Today, we're going to dive deep into that document, the model release, and we're going to find out why the old school way of doing things is a huge risk for everyone involved.
A ticking time bomb. Wow. That's how our source material describes a simple piece of paper. And honestly, it perfectly captures what's at stake here. It's a pretty powerful, even kind of scary idea. So let's get into it and figure out exactly why.
So, this is the central idea we're going to explore. In this hyper-digital age we live in, still relying on physical paper for something this important isn't just, outdated. It's a genuinely risky move.
Okay, before we go any further, let's just make sure we're all on the same page. What is a model release? Well, it's not just a formality, not just some piece of paperwork. It is the absolute legal backbone of a photo shoot. It's a binding contract that spells out exactly how, where, and for how long someone's image can be used. It's everything.
All right, let's look at this from the creator's point of view first. If you're a photographer, a filmmaker, whatever, that signed piece of paper is supposed to be your golden ticket, right? It's the proof that you own the rights. But what happens when that proof is just as fragile as the paper is printed on?
I mean, the practical problems are almost too obvious. Paper gets lost, it gets toffee spilled on it, it gets destroyed in a flood. And trying to find one specific release from a shoot you did 5 years ago, good luck. It's like searching for a needle in a haystack of filing cabinets. But here's the real killer detail. Something as simple as messy handwriting could make a key clause, or maybe even the whole contract, totally useless in court. Now let's flip the script. Let's look at the other side of the lens, because the situation is just as dangerous for the model. For them, a release is supposed to be about protection, about controlling their image. But when it's just a piece of paper you sign and then walk away from, that feeling of security, it's often just an illusion. It can leave you completely exposed.
And this all comes down to access and power. You sign the form, but how often do you actually get a copy for your own records? Almost never, right? So 2 years go by and your photo pops up in some new ad campaign. Can you remember the exact terms you agreed to way back then? Probably not. Without your own record, it's nearly impossible to prove your image is being misused. You have very little power to enforce the contract you signed.
But all of this, for both the creator and the model, it all leads to the single biggest problem. It's a flaw that's baked right into the nature of paper itself. It's what our source calls the ambiguity trap. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? So you have a signed release form, it's got a signature, maybe a date, but a week later, after you've done a few different shoots, how can you prove beyond any doubt, which specific photos that piece of paper is for?
The source material lays out this perfect and frankly terrifying example. Imagine this. A model works with the creator 3 times in 1 month. A generic paper release gets signed, but it's dated vaguely, something like sometime in May. Later, a photo from the second shoot ends up in a huge ad campaign. The model sees it and disputes it, saying, hey, that release was only for the first shoot. All of a sudden, the creator has no concrete way to prove them wrong. It just dissolves into a messy, super expensive, he said, she said legal nightmare.
And here's the bottom line. In this trap, everybody loses. The creator is sitting there terrified that the rights to their most valuable work could be challenged and invalidated. And the model, they lose that fine-grained control over their own image because a vague release could get stretched to cover all sorts of things they never meant to authorize. It is a total lose-lose scenario.
So, if paper is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it isn't to just stop using releases. They're absolutely essential. The solution is to get rid of the paper. It's all about moving from the chaos and risk of the physical world to the security, clarity, and peace of mind of a digital one.
And wow, when you put them side by side like this, the difference is just crystal clear. The link to the actual content? On paper, it's ambiguous. With digital, it's ironclad. Accessibility? Paper is locked away in a file somewhere. Digital is instant. The whole workflow shifts from manual chaos to something totally streamlined.
So a digital system really solves every single problem we've talked about. It creates that undeniable, permanent link between the contract and the specific photos. It gives everyone, the creator and the model, instant access to their records anytime they need them. It just transforms an amateur, risky process into a professional one that protects everybody.
And at the end of the day, that's what this all boils down to. It's about 2 sides of the same coin. For the creator, It's about protecting your work, your business, your entire livelihood. And for the model, it's about protecting your image, your brand, and your fundamental rights.
So we end up right back where we started, with that initial powerful idea. This is a question for every creator and every model listening right now. Take a hard look at your process, at that stack of papers in some dusty filing cabinet. Is that paper trail really a foundation of security? Or is it just a ticking time bomb waiting to go off?